All right, graphs to linear equations notes. So we've been talking about linear equations for a while. We know linear equations are in the form y equals mx plus b. They always start y equals. Remember, our m is our multiplier, which is why it goes with x, and our plus b is something that's happening one time, our one-time feat. Okay, so b is also the beginning, and remember, m is how we move. So just to define, we're going to go ahead and say, remember, this is called slope-intercept form. Here's the name right here. It's off of your star chart. And remember, the order of the name is the order of the equation. So slope is m, right? It comes first. M is slope, the number with x. And intercept is the b, letter B. And remember, it's the second one. And so if you ever forget which one is which, you just read the name. So slope, intercept in that order. All right, so remember we talked about in a table that slope is the change in y over the change in x, and that b is our beginning. So those are still going to be the things we are doing or continuing, but now we're going to get them from a graph. We're going to get them from a graph. So we're going to look at this one on the left, example number 1. It says write the equation from the graph below. So anytime it says write the equation, we know we're going to use the form y equals mx plus b. And so we know we're looking for two things. We're looking for our m value, our move value, and we're looking for b, our beginning. So b is always going to be the easiest one to look for, and we're looking for where does it cross the y-axis. So I look at my y-axis, which is this line right here, and I say, where does my line cross the y-axis? Well, I can see that my y-intercept crosses right here. And so where is that? Well, that is at positive 9. So where did we begin? We began at positive 9. And then it says, what is the change? And change is m. Remember, that's going to be our change in y value over the change in x value. Well, we need to pick another point on our graph, another point. I'm going to erase my circle here, and I'm going to pick a different point. So I have my starting point, and then I can't pick a point like this because it's floating. Remember, we talked about this is a floating point, so we need to go to where it makes a plus sign, and there you can see I'm going to pick a nice point that falls, again, right in the middle of a plus sign on the grid. So my next point is, I just picked the next closest point, and I'm going to see my change in y. Change in y is how much we go up or rise. And then change in x is how much we go over or run. So rise over run is what we're going to refer to it as. And so I'm just going to trace it up. I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to say, okay, how much did I rise? Well, this is not 1 because we went from 9 to 12. So how much did we rise? Well, we rose 3. And it was positive 3 because I went up. And then how much did we run? Well, I went from here to here, and that is from 0 to 1, right? 0 to 1 is how far I ran, and so that's just going to be a 1. So what is 3 divided by 1? 3 divided by 1 is simply 3. So my m value is 3. So again, that was the change in y over the change in x. And again, all I did was make my little stair step. I said, how much did I rise to how much did I run? And so what is m? What is my change? Well, that's going to be 3. So now I can create my equation. We know my equation always starts with y equals. We know my m value goes with x. I'm going to say 3x. And my b, my beginning value, is my plus. So my equation is y equals 3x plus 9. All right, let's try example number 2. Example number 2, again, says write the equation. And so anytime I'm writing an equation, I'm going to use y equals mx plus b. And again, we're just replacing the m and the b. And so I look at my graph, and remember, I'm always going to start by trying to find my beginning. Well, where does my graph begin? I look at my y-axis, my up and down axis, and I say, oh, my graph begins at 60. Okay, that's where I am crossing the y-axis. So I know my b will be plus 60, positive 60. And then I need to find my change in m. And what you'll notice is this graph on the left side is positive. Remember, if we use Miss Turner's little trick where we write our name, right? The end of my name is higher than the beginning. So remember, this was a positive slope. And we can see it's positive right here in our positive 3x, right? Positive slope. And so if I write my name on this one, what's going to happen? It's going to go down, right? If I write Turner on this line, my name is going downhill. And so we know this is a negative slope. So I know whatever m is going to be a negative number. So again, m is going to be my change in y over my change in x, which we like to call rise over run. So I need another point. So I already have my first point here at 60. So I need to grab another point. So I'm going to grab my pen and I'm going to say, okay, I can't choose this point because it's floating, but I can go ahead and choose the next one. And again, it falls right on that beautiful plus sign. So my rise this time is different because instead, remember, rise is your up and down movement. And this time I need to go down to get to my next point, which is what makes this a negative slope. So how much did I go down? I went down from 60 to 50, right? Looking right here, 60 to 50. And so what is 60 to 50? Well, that is negative 10 over what did I run? Well, I went from the y-axis all the way to my next point, which is from 0 to 2. So my run was 2. And so what is 10 divided by 2? Well, 10 divided by 2 is 5, and Integer Man says that is negative. So, again, I already knew my slope was negative because I could see it was going downhill. And so I looked and I said, oh, that's going to be a negative 5. So now I can write my equation, always starting with my y equals. My m value was negative 5, representing a negative slope, and that goes with our x. And then remember, where did we begin? We began at positive 60. And that's how we write equations from graphs.